Well, some say there is nothing quite so American as this civic organization. Organizations like Kiwanis, Rotary, Civitan, and Lions all emerged as the answer to the huge cities that exploded on the scene in the late 19th century due to the combination of industrialization and immigration.
But as these organizations mature, they have challenges in finding new, younger members to take over the causes. But as you're about to see in this evening's Buckley Report, the people in those organizations say you'll be very happy you did.
Even before there was an America, Benjamin Franklin organized the Junta Club in 1727. By the early 19th century, French diplomat Alexis de Tocqueville noted in his historic work Democracy in America that Americans of all ages, conditions, and minds unite. There is scarcely an undertaking so small that Americans do not unite to do it. He called American associations the mother of science that solves complex social and economic problems. They're people.
I love it. I really do.
Like Patrick Theismann.
I'm not one to not be involved. I always say that if you're not involved, you're not allowed to complain.
So Theismann joined the Rotary Club soon after he moved to Greensboro.
We have teachers, we have professors, we have bankers, lawyers, developers. I think, especially with our younger members, that it really shows a wonderful picture of the professions of the entire community.
Because the biggest figures in the community were there. This is a photo from Greensboro's first Rotary meeting in 1917, and Caesar Cone is part of it. That's what made clubs like Rotary influential enough to draw future presidents to speak to them, but close enough to where the members lived to know what their community needed that government didn't have the time, money, or expertise to solve.
What has this organization meant to communities around the country for the last century?
More than you could put into words, really.
I love Greensboro.
But it's always been a service organization. Local projects as well as, there's Rotary International. Eradicating polio was largely a Rotary effort.
It did lead the polio effort worldwide, but civic organizations' lasting effect is what you might call putting out little fires everywhere.
They're good at identifying local problems that don't necessarily get as much attention.
They take on those problems with their time and treasure. Greensboro Rotary recently built a series of handicap access ramps.
They're small in the grand scheme of things, but not to the people that they affect.
Their numbers may still look large. Lions Club are the largest with nearly 1.5 million members, followed by groups like Rotary, Kiwanis, and Civitan. And even though local chapters like Greensboro's may still be significant, according to Rotary's national office, U.S. membership is down by 1/3 over the last 25 years, and it is aging.
There is a challenge getting younger people to join.
Yes.
I think the pandemic sort of was a speed bump with volunteers. I think that people got out of the habit of doing a number of things when we had when the world basically shut down in 2020.
As we begin gathering again, as Rotarians do each Wednesday for lunch meetings, it reminds them of more than a century of doing the good deeds that make a community worth living in.
What will happen to our community if these organizations go away?
I don't believe it'd be positive. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Bob Buckley.
I think if they're gone, we'll realize truly how much they did.
Fox 8 News.